Welcome to the channel where I teach you. Well, I don't really teach you. The channel where I taught myself, and hopefully you guys learn to do everything by yourself because you don't have a choice. By no choice, I mean you don't got money, you're socially inept, or you just really don't want to spend or do anything, whatever.
Hey, okay, so I've been trying to do these videos in one take. As you can see, I've changed my setup again. Now this time the microphone is here in front of the boom mic. It's my third attempt to make this work, just because the weather in this country is completely uncooperative. What happens is it's always 80-90%, so by the time afternoon comes, it's unbearable and my asthma starts acting up. So, I've decided to turn on the air conditioner. It's a decade old. There's going to be a lot of sound in the background, but I'm going to try to remove it in post. So if you're seeing this and it's gone, I was successful. If there's a little bit of background sound, well, I'm not as successful, but anyway. Let's get to the meat of this discussion of why I've decided to start recording these things. Most of you don't know me. I mean, the people that would know me or are watching these are probably my friends from the Philippines and other Filipinos that I've taught. I've taught a few people Japanese. For reference, I am not a professional Japanese language teacher. It's not exactly something I do as a profession. It was kind of like a hobby. Funny story that you guys should probably know about is when I initially started this channel, or when I started teaching Japanese, I wasn't actually out to teach Japanese. I was just trying to, establish a language exchange kind of community, because that was very popular in Japan. I was in Japan for a year. Funny story, I actually spoke no Japanese when I was in Japan for a year, but everybody in my region or general area spoke no English, so I was kind of forced to learn Japanese. And when I got back, there turns out there wasn't a large number of resources or schools that would be able to teach me Japanese. I mean, they could, but it was absurdly expensive. If you live in the Philippines, things here they're okay, but it's expensive if you want to get quality. And so I looked around for a bunch of schools here, and the lessons to get to the N4, N5 levels were like charging you like 20,000-30,000 pesos. I'm not sure what this is in dollars. I think maybe around $700-800. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty bad at that. But anyway, so I look at these things, and then I see these people, and I tried attending a few of the demo lessons, and I'm not going to mention names of where I attended, but it wasn't very good. And what I'd like to point out was when I was in Japan with the language exchange, they're not classes, they were just kind of like an activity. I learned a lot more Japanese there than going through books or any of these formal lessons in this country, which is why when I got back, I decided, hey, I'm going to self-study, and maybe I could form a language group. Turns out that that's not common here. Language exchange seems to be relatively non-existent in this country. In my experience, anyway. I may have gone over most of Metro Manila trying to hold these events for a year. I was representing Duolingo. I still am, but, since COVID hit, there's not much we can do nowadays. There's no meetings or anything. And the vast majority of the people that would talk to me would usually ask me, like, hey, can you teach me how to say this or how to do this? And I'm like, I'm not really here to teach, but sure. So about a year later, going from absolute zero, I found myself teaching people that were zeros, because I was now a 5 out of a scale of 100. I don't know what the overall numbering system is there. You have the N5 to the N1. That's official on JLPT tests. And most people that go and learn these languages do it because they need it for a job or they need it as an application. But from what I found, because last year, I took the N5 just to test myself. And, I knew a lot more without attending a single lesson. I mean, I tried talking to some of the people in the testing class, and of course, results will vary, but a lot of them didn't know what I was saying. And, well, I have an N5, and I was going to take the N4 this year. But then, it's weird because they say that you need to be like at least N3, N2 in order to have a conversation with people in Japan, or Japanese people. But I have no certification. Well, I do now, but at the time I had no certification. But I could hold a pretty, not really fluent, but semi-pigeon type conversation with Japanese people about their lives, their hobbies, what they do, movies, food, all sorts of things. And this is without any formal training. So, which is why I started this. Which is now why I'm going to be talking about my experiences with self-learning this language. I tried doing this for a while on voiceovers. I tried putting some blogs. Not as great. It's a lot easier if I just... This is unscripted. This is just me just talking about it and hoping that you guys pick up some information. So, one of the first things I want to talk about now is that what makes me qualified to teach this? I'm like 2 years into this, and like I said, I don't really have a certification or anything. Books-wise, I'm using the Minan Nihongo 2, and it's technically still a beginner level Japanese, but I can hold conversations with Japanese people, so I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with this, wherein I study a lot, but at the same time, I believe that it's not so much as a belief, but my experience with it is immersion is a lot more important than any sort of formal grammatical studies, because grammatical studies won't really... they'll kind of give you a foot into the language, but at the same time, it doesn't make you comprehensible, or it doesn't make you really good at the language. I can read children's books in Japanese. I'm not sure if that's an accomplishment. I'm sure most people can do that. And a lot of people will say, hey, I got to the N3 in a year, and me, I'm technically an N5, maybe an N4. I can't take the test this year because of COVID, but the reason I wanted to talk about self-learning is because I completely and fully believe that you can just pick up a language without any of these grammar schools that people pay massive amounts of money to. And that's generally the gist of why I started the Language Mates, which eventually became tutorials. Weird how that went, right? Anyway, so I rank myself as a beginner, moving to intermediate. Maybe I'm intermediate already, I'm not sure. There's not a lot of sport in this country, unlike in other countries where you can easily buy books and you can easily get resources, find other language learners. It's a little bit harder here in the Philippines because most people are either occupied with their jobs or, their hobbies. Well, games, I guess. I used to be an avid gamer, not anymore. Anyway, so a lot of these things I'll be telling you is basically self-learning because, I don't have money. I have money, but I don't really have that much money in order to afford courses and time, to go around and teach and learn and, just to go and attend a formal class, which again, I don't even think is required. Okay, so let's get to the meat of the discussion, which is motivation. A lot of people have asked me, how do you stay motivated when you're studying? When you don't want to do it anymore, how do you keep going? Like, there are some days I'm just so lazy, I don't want to do it. A lot of people here on YouTube and a lot of self-learners will also tell you that, hey, you got to keep the mind engaged, you got to keep the mind active, you got to keep giving it new information, keeping it stimulated, because when the mind gets bored, you lose it. This is partially true. It's not partially true, it is true. The mind gets bored really easily. And, sometimes you just gotta do what you enjoy in order to learn something. But, what people will tell you is a great thing for motivation, or, how to stay motivated, I think you should just throw that in the bin. That's useless. Motivation is fleeting. It's something that you kind of get, What's the word I'm looking for? You kind of get into, and then if you lose it, then suddenly you're not doing anything anymore. So it's a terrible thing for you to rely on. You should not rely on motivation. What you should rely on is a schedule and a system. It's like working out in the gym. I don't know if you guys do that, but that's the best equation I got. There are days that you don't want to go to the gym, and you got off days, and then there are days that you feel great and you want to go to the gym. If you only went during the days you want to go to the gym, you're not going to make any progress. Whatever your goal was for that, you're not going to get anywhere if you only go on nice days when you feel great. Because the human body works in a circadian rhythm. If it goes up and down, sometimes you feel like crap, sometimes you feel great. If you only go when you feel great, nothing's going to happen. Forget about it. So, this is what I mean by motivation is useless. It's actually useful to kind of push you there, but a lot of times, you're not going to feel like you're getting anywhere. And you just gotta that's the right word. You just gotta soldier on. You gotta keep moving through it even when you're not motivated. Because from personal experience, I have not had bad days. I have had bad weeks. I've had bad months wherein I'm absolutely bored. And I'm just tired of reading the same sentence over and over and over again. And going through the same useful, I want to say useless, but I mean it is useful. Sentence structures, grammatical errors, and I make the same problems over and over again. It's like, I used wo instead of or ga instead of wa. Like, I hate it. Why is this happening to me? But eventually, as long as you just keep doing it, it's like working out. Whether you feel good or bad, you just do it. What eventually happens is you get surprised. One day you open that book, you open a new chapter you've never seen before, you open a new story you've never read before, like a children's book or something, and suddenly you're just reading it. And it's like, what? I just read that. Wait a second, that's in kanji. Why do I know this kanji? Soka. Wakarimashita. Oh. It's just like, wow, okay. That's what happens there. So what I want to say is you just gotta go through it sometimes. You just gotta go through the motions even if you don't want to. Because on the days that you do get that motivation and you're still following the system, you make so much more progress in that one day than you will ever have made if you only did it on your on days or good days. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about motivation. There's a lot more topics coming. Just wait for it. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be publishing more concrete lessons, how to learn kanji, spaced repetition, self-learning, learning online, establishing the schedule, establishing a system, things I just talked about. I'll be bringing all that up, but I gotta arrange them first because, like I said, it's the first time I'm actually posting a video. So, stay tuned, subscribe, like. After about a month or two, once I've gotten this thing a little bit more organized, I'm going to have a Patreon, so, I'll let you guys know when that's up. But anyway, thanks for watching the channel, and, let me know what you think about it and what you'd like to hear some more about in the comments. Okay, thanks.